anime.
Yeah, because Asian.
Because
you're Japanese, right?
I fucking hate anime.
You're either Japanese or Chinese.
You like Blue Moon Girl, huh?
Aren't you Vietnamese?
Blue Moon Girl.
Aren't you Vietnamese? I don't, man. Fuck this shit. Don't you drive a Honda VTEC too today?
What's up, everybody? So, this is podcast.
I don't finish doing what the fuck.
No.
Podcast still figuring out.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's
no title yet.
Intro.
So we're still waiting on figuring out the name.
2 years later, we still don't have a title. I'm still good.
We're probably gonna be podcast figured out.
Yeah, podcast figured out.
That could be it. Podcast figure it out.
So
Do a quick recap.
Podcast clink.
Recap on
the last episode, or the previous audio.
I mean, I think that was more a regaling of the
Best times ever.
Yeah, the man cave.
The best memories are the ones that you cannot remember. No, actually, the best moments are the ones that you cannot remember.
Honestly, I don't remember shit from even last week.
Are you complaining?
I'm not complaining. It's just
Exactly.
life is.
That means you had a good time.
I think.
That means last week was a good time because if you can't remember,
being in my 30s, fuck man, it just turns into.
That was 10 years ago, by the way.
When am I on? When am I off? Yeah, it really
That was 10 years ago, by the way.
So this is podcast. We have Mr. Juan who just stepped out, Lalo, Saulo, and myself, Kana. I'll go back.
There you go. That's perfect.
That's your code name.
This makes it a little bit easier to not worry about what stories we tell.
Mm-hmm. That works. Kana is perfect. Dude.
Yeah.
Because that's how we know you.
Yeah. So to recap, we're still trying to
figure this out.
But
we're getting the groove. So a couple of beers.
I think again, to go back to the very first one. This idiot.
Oh, sorry. Were you talking, Saulo?
No.
I don't care.
We're still trying to figure out the special
We're gonna edit this out. Anyways,
Yeah, we'll edit your face out.
I say keep this shit. I love that.
Honestly, we're figuring shit out. But on top of that being said, with that being said, figuring it out, we're doing, I think, great.
God's work.
Again, honestly, when I used to do the podcast with Mike and them, and shout out to my boy Mike, Will, Louie.
What's the name of the podcast?
That one was called Garage Reviews.
That's right.
Because
it's called Content Friends.
Yes, AKA Content Friends. No, it was called Garage Reviews because all we did at that time we were
gaming.
We were big gamers, yeah. And Mike was going to school because he came out of the military, came back.
He was single.
Will as well, and we were all gaming and. Mike came out with the idea of let's just do a podcast, and at that time this was before podcasts were the thing, and it was a cool thing.
You know what? Actually, I will absolutely agree with it because this was in 2000, so it was podcasts were coming out. Podcasts are incredibly popular now. It's a thing. But back in those days, you guys were ahead.
We were definitely, and
I love the idea because you guys had a different category. Each guy had a different thing he was responsible. You were responsible for gaming, right?
Well, we were all responsible for gaming. I was responsible for the
sports,
the sports and racing games. Mike was more like the Fallout, which was like the RPGs. Will was more like the
porn.
No, he was RPG too. But we all.
Can I be that guy?
we didn't know what we were doing, and but I know Mike will listen to this, so that's why I give a big shout out to my one of my brothers.
Red.
Mike, Red. That's right. That guy.
It's my cat's birthday.
And I'll tell you guys right now.
Come on, dog.
And you guys have all met him. You guys have all met Red and Will. Those guys.
Congratulations on Halloween! I heard you were the executive producer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Dude, those guys were so important to me because they accepted me in the time when nobody else accepted me, especially moving to the high school where I went to at that time.
They're ahead of their time because we don't accept you. So
yeah, absolutely. And those guys, Mike came out with the idea. I was very optimistic, and I was like, nah, I don't know, man. I didn't even want to do it, but I was gonna do it with my friends, and we were gonna drink and smoke, and so I was like, yeah, why not? But let me tell you, those guys really taught me well, especially Mike more than anybody, he taught me, how to, he didn't teach me. I think by doing what we did, it taught me that, you don't have to sound the way you sound all the time. The way you speak, you don't have to speak that way. There's a difference. And it wasn't because he told me, dude, you sound horrible on them. Because he would always be like, no, man, you guys, like now, I was always the loudest. Because I'm just the loudest. But he was like, man, you got a great voice. But I always, when I heard it, I was like, dude, I sound like a fucking idiot. And probably still do. But I learned by listening.
Argument there.
Yeah. I learned by listening to him and Will that, you know what? No, dude, I can't. I have to keep up with them. Yeah. And that's how I always felt. Trying to keep up with those two guys, it was hard for me. And that's why when you guys threw out the idea this time around of doing it, I was absolutely. Because I felt like there was something, for me personally, unfinished there. Because I didn't speak much. I felt like I didn't say much. I was more shy, I guess. I was more shy in the sense of hearing my voice. But those guys really taught me a lot. And now, doing it now with you guys, like, I love it because it was like, the idea was then, right? And I never thought again that I would be doing this again. And, doing it now is just like, I always go back to those days because I'm like, I never would have thought that listening to me then and doing it then would have taught me something that I could use again. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's great. I love the fact that we're doing again, or that I'm involved in another podcast. And I so wish that both of them were here and they would be involved.
Be guests. I mean, you guys did that thing where you could go.
Well, Mike has
a connection.
Yeah, well, at that time we were Skyping.
Yeah.
Which was.
Well, we could do that. I mean,
Mike has told me, he's like, dude, if you're okay with it, I'm down to be in it, but I'd have to Skype. But I said, yeah, absolutely. Like, I said yes because I know that you guys wouldn't be opposing to it.
Yeah.
And knowing Mike, he's the type of guy that's always got something to say.
Yeah.
That's my brother. That's where, honestly.
We have international listeners.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, that guy, well, he's not international. He's in Seattle. But that guy.
Interesting.
That guy taught me that, you know what? Even when you think you don't have something to say or you're not saying something interesting, somebody might find that interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I was so willing to do this again. Because it was like, yeah, I may not think that people are listening or people may take whatever I say into consideration, but you just never know. You never fucking know.
But I thought Mike moved to...
He moved to Seattle.
Iceland, Greenland.
No, when he was in the military.
He was stationed there.
Yeah, he was a military police in the Navy, stationed in Iceland, and he was there for I think 2 years, and then he came back to the States, and he was stationed in Virginia for another 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I only met him a couple of times. Clearly, right away, right off the bat, he was a cool guy. I mean, it was around the time that he still lived there, right there near
by Lindale.
That was an awesome place.
And we used to go watch the DC animated movies, and we would just fucking geek out on that
TV.
And that, honestly,
that was not, no.
TV.
That was not a TV. That, my friend, was a window.
Yeah,
that was a window.
That was a window to the future. And I remember, honestly, you were one of the persons that I always wanted to be there more than anybody else. Not saying that you guys, Chris and Juan, Kana and Juan were not invited, but more you, because you were definitely. You were a gamer. You watched the same shit we did, and I knew that when the toughest thing was when because at that point I had two sets of friends. It was you guys and those guys, right? And I never thought
and the guys from the pound.
Yeah, and I never thought that because when you have two different sets of friends, you never know if there's going to be a connection or not.
Yeah,
it always felt like we were from two different worlds. Now that I'm able to do it, I know I'm able to do it because I'm diverse. I know I can do it. But them and you guys, I didn't know you guys would ever. And I remember one day I took a chance to say, you know what? Fuck it. I remember even you and Sergio went over there once. And I said, oh no, it was just Sergio, I think.
Where?
No, you were there too.
Where?
Red's house. You went to Red's house.
I've been there a few times.
Yeah,
dude.
and I remember I told Mike, I said, listen, these are
That's where I named him Red.
These are two of my goodest friends, and they want to come through and chill. And Mike was like, listen, they're with you. They're good with me. And I didn't know
he
how.
was baking his cat a cake. And, yes. His cat's birthday.
And I honestly, the craziest thing, I'm going to tell you like this, guys. I remember that night, all right, where Juan and Sergio came over, and you know they were interacting with Mike and Will and Louie, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. I sat back and I just watched, and I said, "This is how I know that I know how to choose my friends."
He's like, God, he's
because
happy.
yes, because I knew that having these two sets of different friends, I brought them together without thinking whether it was gonna work or not, or if it was gonna work. It worked. You guys were able to hang out. There was no big differences, like I thought there was, and it worked out amazingly. And
marijuana helps.
Absolutely, marijuana and alcohol. And then I always knew Lalo, you would, because you were definitely one of us in that sense, right? But these other guys I didn't know, and you. I remember when you went with your sister once.
Yeah.
I remember because they asked about your sister a couple times after that, and
Oh, that's about your sister.
Well, yeah, because they knew her.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Anyways,
Anyways,
I think actually
I'm
he
just trying to
baked the
instigate
cake
some
that
shit.
day.
he might have. I wouldn't doubt it.
What?
Yeah.
But it was.
I think he baked a cake when she was there.
I think I remember that. Like, this fool actually baked the cake that day, and he actually looked like Red.
And I'll tell you what, dude. Seeing that connection between two different types of friends that I didn't think would connecting each other, like that was great, dude. It was that moment where I was like, you know what, dude? Why did I wait so long to bring these people together? Because for the longest time, I always thought, I was like, no, they would never connect.
Like Juan said, beer and marijuana.
Yeah.
So it is
No, you know what? I understand where you're coming from, because I know people that have like a two set of friend thing.
Everybody does.
Yeah, but I never understood that, because I think I've actually hung out. I've broken that like I introduce friends to friends and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen people and I've actually thought, why have you kept us apart? Like we get along, so it's like, why would you keep us apart? I never understood that. Like I've been blessed enough to know friends, and you guys included, that I can introduce to anybody I know. Like I don't give a fuck. I would bring you around people, and Saulo, you're fucking an exception because I hate you, but
yet he has me here every goddamn weekend.
I'll introduce you to people and they'll love you, and I can't understand it.
So that was, I think, the magic of the last podcast, the man cave. Like that was the thing. You were a great host in that you didn't care what walks of life people came from. Yeah. You just invited people into the home and made them feel welcome.
And believe me, there was people that I thought, dude, these people are not going to get along, and we got along and stuff. Yeah. Again, in that particular setting, alcohol was a big factor.
Whatever, but you would think that alcohol.
But I never thought. I never had it, and I understand why people. I kind of understand, but I don't understand.
Well, because you just don't
people
know.
Go, oh, I should keep this set of friends away from this set of friends. It's like, but I've always walked you're right. Last podcast, I would have fucking people around each other, and
it worked out.
Everything was great. Yeah. I never had to kick. What I was trying to get to the point in the last podcast is like, I never had to kick anybody out because of drama. Really, I never did, and I invited fucking women, men, like I invited different types of people, but I never had a different fucking. I never kicked anybody out because I fucking I invited everybody through. You know what I mean? And everybody would get along at the end of the day and stuff. Like I never heard shit like at the end of the day. You know?
The beautiful thing about your place was that, and I always and I personally always made this clear to everybody. Listen, especially women, because men, whatever. But women always came in there.
Yeah,
with the little.
We would actually hear subtle stories.
Yeah,
like,
they would.
Dude, so and so was getting along with so and so, and they would actually tell me, "Yeah, it's a girl thing. You wouldn't know." No, and I'm like, really? And I thought we were all having a good time.
You should have been like, okay, then don't tell me.
Well, no, hear me. There was plenty of times where it was like, especially with women, they would come in there defensively. Well, especially women, they would come in to the man cave with us. A little defensively, and rightfully so, because they didn't know how it was, how we were. But I would always tell people, nobody has ever come here and
not had a good time.
And not had a good time and was pressured to do something that they didn't want to do. Yeah. And another thing...
Absolutely, I'm glad you brought that
And another thing was, on top of that was, and again, this goes for the women, no women ever sat at your place or passed out at your place fearing that they might get taken advantage of when they were drunk.
Yes. Yeah,
because I would always say, listen, you're never going to get taken advantage of, and you're never going to do something you don't want to do. Now, we're all free people here. You feel me? And if you do something, it's because you want to do it. Not because I made you do it or somebody made you do it. And that was what the man cave worked so well, was because nobody walked in there with pressure.
Yeah.
You did what you wanted to do, and you left when you wanted to go. Now, if you were too fucked up to leave, there's a couch, there's plenty of floor, there's plenty of room in the bed, and nobody ever took advantage.
Nobody ever complained yet. Nobody ever complained about that, and I'm glad you brought up that point. So because as crazy as we got there, it was always fucking responsible.
Even though it was crazy, it was still safe.
I'm glad I never had to kick anybody out, but I really never had to kick anybody out. And dude, there was people that I met. There was people that met.
Wait, what?
Did you ever get close? It was one.
No,
honestly,
not that I could think of.
Honestly, no.
There was people who annoyed us.
I had one roommate.
They chilled out.
I had one roommate, Peter, and you know him and stuff like. Yeah. And he would invite anybody and anybody over, and I would just caution him like, look, bro, you live here, you're inviting people over that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And be careful. All I would say was dude, be cautious, because there was one point where. At one point, a friend of a friend brought like kids over, and they were like teenagers, and they were trying to get alcohol, and that was probably the only time I was like, no.
Yeah, but rightfully so, because they were children. They were kids.
Yeah, they were kids, and like I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to come in here, and you're trying to get alcohol, and no, that's just not. Like, dude, let's keep it legal. You guys are.
We were still adults about the situation.
You guys are friends of friends, and
that's what I think. One of the things I really liked about us, you know, not everybody's the same. Like the last podcast we were talking about, is that, you know, you were doing your things at your man cave. I was doing my own things at my apartment in downtown.
But we kept it reasonable.
Yeah,
like, everybody was safe.
But let's be realistic. Have we met any of our friends besides the ones that we knew? Like your friends that were aside, Juan's friends that had aside, my friends, even your friends on the side. Even nowadays, I've been over to your boy's house. I forget what his name is. The guy with the long hair.
Mr. X.
Alex. And I'll tell you, I've been over there. I've met him a few times, but the last time we went over there, like I was a little like, maybe I should tone it down a little bit, because you just don't know how people are gonna.
Oh, now you think of that? Why did you think of that? Like,
because I didn't care about you. Anyways, but I'll tell you, I think that we've all been able to get along with these quote unquote set of friends that we didn't know, and we're able to say, get along. I got along. I've even hung out with you and your friends, the other guys, the other two guys. We gone to see the movies, gone to the pizza place, and it makes me feel good to know that you can get along with all my friends. You all can get along with all my friends. I can get along with your friends, and that just tells me that that's how good of people we are.
Yeah.
That's how good our judgment is on people. No, I think that tells a big part of us. Just at least us four. We know how to pick our friends.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, I can put you with other people that you may have never known, and you're gonna be all right. And I don't have, like, if I bring Juan, Lalo, or you to other sets of friends that you guys may have never met, I'm never gonna sit there and be like, damn, I gotta watch.
I gotta worry about them.
Yeah. No.
That's the last thing you wanna have to worry about.
Yeah, and I know I can bring you guys, and I'll be like, that guy's my friend. He's good.
And you know what? We had a mutual friend who, I'm not gonna mention names and stuff, but I think he felt in his head he should keep us apart from other friends and stuff, dude. And we got along with those friends fucking great. Great,
I
wanna with
stick Thor.
I don't know.
I had to make up a word. I had to make up a word in my head.
Really? I still don't know.
I never would have.
But like he had another set of friends, and like he was so like cautious, like, oh my god, I gotta fucking. And
wait, are we talking about who I?
Did you not? This fool just get the fuck out of here.
I don't know who this is. That's what I'm saying. I can't really.
Rhymes with sticker, really?
Oh,
stupid little bitch.
Yes.
But dude, I remember.
I don't think I know this guy, but okay.
Yeah, you do. But
oh, okay. Anyways, continue.
But there was a moment and where back in the day when
and he even told us, he even admitted to us,
we turned 21, and it was like the first time that he was like, "Oh, I gotta introduce you to like my other friend," and he was like so cautious about introducing us, and we got along great to the point where I'm like, dude. When I had my own place,
we don't want you.
When I had my man cave, I was like, I fucking like, dude. If you want to bring them, fucking bring them.
Dude, there was a couple times. There was a couple times where they came and he wasn't even there. Not because he wasn't invited. It was just he was doing other things. It was like we were so cool with them. Now I just remember what we were talking about.
To this day, I'm cool with these people.
Absolutely.
Dude. To this day, I'm like, and I even commented to him like, why did you think we wouldn't get along? Like. We're not dicks. They're not dicks. Yeah. Like, why the fuck do you think we wouldn't get along?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think to tie back into the original, like, doing podcast, like what you were doing back in the day, it's learning to not edit yourself.
Yes.
That's a big thing that people don't know how to do because they're worried about their different walks of life. I juggle that fucking shit myself these days. I don't want to edit myself. That's why I appreciate this group of friends so much because I feel like this group of friends, we don't edit ourselves.
No, I mean, I think we all have told each other a lot of embarrassing stories. I mean, you guys have seen my embarrassing moments.
We're just really close. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know,
we're damn near brothers. I mean, that's why we said it even the first podcast. We're brothers.
We're comfortable enough to tell it.
And so, and to sort of like bring it up all together, since we're talking about like how some of us have secondary group of friends, and I want to admit, I think we all do. I do have my
we all do.
I have the group of friends that I met when I was in San Jose State. Especially when I had my apartment in downtown, it was a complete set of different friends.
Absolutely.
Just because of the fact I was in downtown, like Juan was way down in South San Jose. We all have something going on in our mid to late 20s. We all have something else going on. And I'm glad that we're all coming back. I mean, I'm not hanging out with you guys just because we're doing this. No, we have all constantly hung out periodically.
And I don't think there's ever a doubt in our minds that we're hanging out with each other because of the party. We're hanging out with each other because this is what we love to do.
Yeah.
This is just a plus.
We're at the point of our lives where we're like, remember back in the days? No, we're recording ourselves and we don't get tired of talking about this. But the whole point is that, like, let's call my other secondary group of friends. I wouldn't tell them some of the stories that you guys know. Because you know what?
I know what you mean.
I know these guys way longer than I know you guys. I'd rather they know that.
There's just a trust. There's
well, not to say that I don't trust them. I trust them too. But it's just the fact that
it's just that there's a certain connection. There's a certain longevity of friendship. And we've seen too much with each other to be like, I don't know if I could tell this guy. Yeah. Because I'll tell you right now, if I go through something in my life, which I have, and I think we all have, you three are probably one of the main three that I will never hesitate to be like, listen, this is what I'm going through. This is how I feel. Even if sometimes I may feel like, man, I don't know if that's something I should be telling another man. You feel me? I would never feel that way with you guys because that's that trust.
Yeah.
That's that brotherhood. Not even friendship. I think it's beyond that. It's a brotherhood where we're like, you know what, dude? I'm able to go to Juan. I'm able to go to Kana. I'm able to go to Lalo and say, listen.
I got 3 nipples, man.
I feel this way. I got 3. I got a set of balls and 1. And it's okay. And it's all right. I mean, Lalo, let's be realistic. When you had your little situation, right?
You were the first person that I told. Dude, the first night that I got out of the drunk tank, you were there. You showed up to my house.
And what did I tell you, brother? Hey, no matter. And at that point, I don't think we had been. We didn't talk constantly.
Well, there had been a great.
There was a break, but it never meant that we weren't friends. Like you were doing.
The connection was there.
Yeah, you had your own life. I had my own life. And it never stops us from being friends. Like that's never. But, I knew that at that time you were going through something. And even though I hadn't talked to you for 6 months, close to a year, it didn't mean that I wasn't going to be there for you. I said, dude, where you at? I'm at home. I'm on my way. And we talked. And it wasn't, and to me, it wasn't something like I needed to do that. It was just, you're my friend. You're my brother. And I'm going to be there. And I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to give you my opinions. You take it however you want to take it, right? And I'm glad that you listened. right? But that's what I'm talking about. The connection is like, no matter how long we didn't really talk before that point, you know, we like I said, we still talked and text here and there, very far in between. But you were always you were still my friend, you were still my brother, and it felt like I had just seen you the day before. Yeah, and we picked up like nothing. And it's been like that, and this is why I feel like this podcast will work.
Yeah.
Because the chemistry.
Yes, because no matter what, how long we may, I mean, even Juan, we know now that you got your girl, you moved in with your girl, we don't see each other as often as we should. I think, right?
Oh, you miss me.
I do, absolutely. I miss my long-haired bitch.
You fucking fag.
Yeah. You fucking fag.
What are you a fag?
But at the end of the day, it never. Perfect example. Our good brother, our good friend Sergio. Mm-hmm. How long sometimes does it take before we talk to this guy? I mean, it's months sometimes, but it's understandable. He's married. He's got kids.
But we're reasonable, because
you know. Understand. But every time
I will never get in the way of a family.
And I tell this. Every time I talk to a guy, it could be 3, 4, 5 months down the line. Now he picks up the phone, or I pick up, I call him. It's like we just talked yesterday. I mean, and it's the same thing with Yukon. It's the same thing with Juan. The same thing with Lalo. I'll never hesitate to pick up the phone and be like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna say to my boy, especially you guys. Like I already know. There's no question. I'm going to talk to you guys and I'm going to have something to say. Yeah. I'm going to pick up where we left off, and it's okay. And I think that's why when you guys, I think making a full circle, like you said earlier, brought this whole podcasting up, I was like, yes, absolutely. Because these are 3 men that I've known for many years, that are brothers of mine. And no matter how long sometimes we don't talk, we're gonna have something to say.
Yeah. I think it speaks volumes to the human connection. That's the thing that I'm struggling with these days, because I've turned into such an introvert, but I think that's a good thing because it lets me re-examine what the fuck my brain is doing.
Balance.
But knowing that all of us look at each other as family, as a tribe, as brothers, like that's huge. And it could go long gaps of space between the times we interact with each other, but you pick right back up from where you were. Like, that's huge. I think society as a whole doesn't know how to do that anymore because we're too over inundated with too much fucking information. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, so people have ideas of what they think they're supposed to be doing. And it really does boil down to something like this. We might have our tertiary, like, different groups of friends that maybe overlap with each other. People
and it's just that human interaction. I mean, you're not gonna... You just gotta interact with people. That's just a fact.
That's just life. That's just what happens.
I mean, honestly, we all know each other's families. It's not like I've never met your family. It's not like I've never met family. It's not like I've never met your family. I think we've all met each other's family, and it's like, till this day, Juan. Think about this. Now, this is not everybody knows this, but at least we know. My dad is in Mexico now. He lives in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Till this day, he still asks about Juan. He still asks about Chris. He still asks about Sergio. And I spoke to him today, matter of fact. And he said, how's Juan doing? How's Sergio doing? How's Chris doing? I don't think you've ever met my dad.
I never met
my parents ask about you, but they call you Blue.
Yeah.
It's so funny to have my mom.
Which I love. Your mom is a wonderful woman.
Hey.
I love her.
Hey.
Not like that.
I was like, whoa. All right, okay.
Tell Miss Alvarado, I say hello.
tell that fine young lady I said hello.
But she says, she pronounces your name Azul.
Which is funny. That's my niece's name, Azul. My oldest niece's name. Yeah.
Yeah. But she... It's so funny, like she knows exactly.
And how long have we known each other? Since high school, since a little bit after high school,
bro. Decades now, and now, and she goes, how's Azul? It's like Saulo.
And it's funny because it's not even a hard name to
I mean, it's Saul with O at the end.
But you know, like your name is more like if I Google your name, it's more Brazilian than.
Yeah.
Yo, you don't even gotta tell me. You know, my dad, when he fucking first, because it was his genius ass idea to name me Saulo, he straight out said, he told me, he said, it was between, how this is between these two fucking names, I don't fucking know. He said, it was either Saulo or Saulinho. How the fuck, out of all, there's books on fucking, you could have named me Jose and I would have been alright.
And he named
and this motherfucker landed on Saulo.
Hey. and he named him after a biblical rapist.
Wow.
Which? Kidding.
Not a far-fetched name.
Book of Saulo.
I have raped my fair share.
I follow the
That's a lie.
And
he follows the biblical verses.
It's weird because it's like
I'm good looking and I have a rapist wit.
But it's weird. It's one of those things where it's like even till today, my dad will still ask and ask about you guys and
my parents will ask about you all the time.
And that just goes to show you the connection we have.
Know each other.
Yeah, the connection we have. Like, granted, our parents have probably never met.
They never.
I don't think so.
Wait. Actually, my mom has worked with your mom.
Yeah, but they haven't really like connected lately to be like, yeah,
no.
But they have.
Yeah.
They know mutual friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird.
Like, they haven't recently interacted, which I wish we should.
We should get that.
We live in the same city.
Yeah,
but
and even but with that being said, even my mom has asked me about it. I still haven't met Juan's mom. I want to meet her because she knows it in her gut that
they
knows
know
her.
of each other. They know of each other because they used to work at the same place.
Yeah, way back when.
And Saulo's mom has a very distinct name. Mm-hmm. And my mom has a very distinct name.
Yeah.
Like your mom's name and my mom's name, I've never heard on another human being before.
Well, what's your mom's?
Merida.
Yeah.
What?
Mom, yeah.
By the way, I only met.
Have you heard of
until now, I know
Dude,
your mom.
You know what my mom's name is? Felicitas.
Felicitas, dude.
Pues las felicitas por mí, por favor.
Sí, claro. Obvio. Yeah, that's her name, Felicitas.
That's like happiness.
Yeah.
It's weird. So like congratulates.
Which is weird because
it's a verb name.
Yeah,
it's a verb.
It's like an action name. It's like
felicitar, like congratulate.
Would you congratulate? It's like naming somebody congratulate. Can I congratulate you?
Yeah.
It's like
and you're right. It's weird because and I've told my mom about her and she's like, dude, that sounds like she swears that she knows your mom, which I don't doubt it.
Kindred spirits.
Let's meet this weekend.
What? How, okay.
Because my aunt's birthday and we're gonna get to this.
At your uncle's house?
My mom's house. Yeah.
At your house? At your mom's house? At your parents' house?
Yeah.
Let me know. It's not like my mom's fucking busy. She ain't doing
Mom's
shit.
was congratulations.
Because honestly, dude, she's told me plenty of times. She's like, I still haven't met Juan's mom, and does your mom know a lady? I don't know. Do you know your mom's friends a lot or no?
My mom has no friends.
Damn. I think you described it as
whenever the doorbell rang. That sounds dark, but
no,
I wish my mom did.
Well, I think I remember you saying whenever the doorbell rang, the blinds would go click.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because, and then not answer the door
because it's not like in an evil way, but like my mom is as introvert as you think you're an introvert. No.
Well, but that's weird for you to hold on. That's weird for you to say, and I understand why you say it. But I've never had an issue talking to your mom, and you know what I'm talking about. Like I've always, since day one that I met your parents.
Well, that's the irony of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like you would think that my mom was like an introvert because she doesn't want to talk to anybody.
But since day one I met your parents, like,
and this fool, Saulo has even told me that. Dude, you need to fucking have somebody talk to your mom because she needs somebody to talk to. It's like,
she
but
does.
it's not because anybody has told her. And my mom has 10 siblings.
Really?
8 siblings and 1 brother. So she's 1 of 10. And it's ironic because my my grandfather was like he was a very tyrant father.
Sure.
Like
it's the classic Mexican.
Yeah, and she was, and I am super surprised that I exist.
Sure.
My mom is like how I don't know how you would describe it, but she's like a yes sir, like person and stuff. Like the fact that my father actually whispered.
And your dad is completely
the John is
not that.
The fact that my father
so
whisked away, not only whisked away, but whisked away from a fucking country. It's a baby's a miracle. I am a miracle, dude, because I am coming from
You're a nightmare.
Don't an introvert that met her polar opposite. And you know what? Mm-hmm. And you know what? And we got this combination. And went.
And then the devil was born. Hey, and then the devil was born. That's why.
The fact that I don't hit the fucking lottery on the fucking constant basis is a miracle. Yeah. Dude, and I should fucking hit the fucking lottery and like hit it every time.
Mind you, though, I remember the first time
that
I met Juan's parents because I went to his house many times before I had ever met your parents because he had parties and practices when you were with certain and I never really I met your parents, but I really needed to talk to them. I remember the first time that I actually talked to your mom and dad, and you were like, hey, my mom and my dad, they're a bit weird, so and I can remember like it was yesterday. I started talking to John. Easy, your dad's easy to talk because he's just that type of person. But your mom, and I remember you told me, you're like, my mom's a little weird, so if she doesn't really talk, don't worry about it. Dude, we started talking like nothing. And maybe that's just me, because you know me, I'm easy to talk. I can talk to anybody. But your mom...
This guy's known me for almost 30 years. He's met my mom like twice.
3 times, because I came across...
He walked by the room one time.
No, twice, back when you were over there, we were still living with them. The last time was because I came across Judy at the flea market on Produce Row. Hey, Judy, what's up? And then your mom was... First of all, I thought it was Judy by herself. She just happened to be standing next to a lady on Produce Row because Produce Row is crowded with people.
Happened to be her mom.
And she turns around and Judy's like, oh, it's my mom. Oh, mucho gusto, blah, blah, blah. But your mom was, like, how, like, I don't know, like... Mexican ladies, they don't give you the full hand. They just give you like the tip of the fingertips. Like, and to me, they gave me the hint is like okay, let's keep this short.
Juan knows I've had like hour-long conversations with his mom. Just.
And I remember you were one of the first ones like, dude, you need to get your mom some friends. She wants to talk. And I go, no one holds her back. Like my parents used to. My parents worked at the same place and like the same fucking people and like this can go on for a long time. Right. Like my dad was like, dude, you know how I am and you know how your mom is. He goes, dude, you know how many times I had to give up social events because your mom didn't want to go? And like now as he's retired, he goes, I will do these things. Like I will do. You invite me, I'll go. Cause my dad's like a social butterfly, and so like he'll do it. But he's like, you know how many times this shit hold me back because I felt like I had to hold back because of your mom, and I can't be mad at that.
But you know the thing with your dad nowadays, he sort of reminds me of teenagers when they're rebelling against their parents.
Yes.
You know what? I want to go to the party. I don't care what you said. I don't care. Yes. I'm old enough to go. All my friends are going. I'm like your dad reminds me of that. You know what? I want to go. I don't care. My son's friends are gonna be there.
Dude, he'll play fucking bear pong with us and stuff. Because my mom was she was absolutely raised in a household where it was very strict. Dude, she was one of 10. And they used to run a family business of billiards, which you would think would be free, but no, it was even more strict and stuff. I've been in that house. I've slept in that house. I've been a part of that, and like my mom is not exposed to something like and on top of that, my mom and I were born on the same day.
God damn.
We were born on which our birthdays are coming up and stuff, right? But we're born on the same day. So I like, if you combined what we are and our personalities, we like a bit of mystery. We like a bit of don't tell me what the fuck to do. Yeah. We enjoy that fucking side of us. It's just our personality. But it's very rare to see, dude. How many people do you know? You were born on your mom's birthday. I am that exception. I was born on my mom's birthday and stuff, right? But my mom is perfectly content with. We don't have to do anything exciting, you know. If we're healthy and
low key,
like we're low key, we're good and stuff. You know what I mean?
Is she a killer at pool? Having a billiards place? That was her thing?
No, she's not. She actually, as a matter of fact, the only brother she was one of 10, which 8 of them were female and one of them was a boy.
Oh, then so they were all
They're all women. Yeah.
Damn.
And that boy happened to be an alcoholic, and so when she sees
he was traumatized.
When she sees me drinking, she fears that I am an alcoholic, which I will tell you honestly, I'm not. I like to party, and I may be drunk right now, but but I get my shit done, and dude, especially in my 20s, yeah, did I rage? I raged. Yeah, absolutely.
I think
we're
living a day where if you're in your 20s, you're just naturally an alcoholic. You know,
yeah, absolutely. But in my 30s, which I am now, I can go, dude. If we're gonna have, if I tell you, I'll have a beer with you, I'll have a beer with you in the most literal sense, like which before Saulo can fucking he can tell you that a beer with you meant 20. You know.
Sure.
I think
I've been to many AA meetings. I
think it's one of those things. It depends it depends on the person, because if Juan were to tell me, hey, let's go have a beer, no, it ain't gonna be one beer.
Do you worry? But you've known me the longest here. But do you worry about me being an alcoholic?
No,
an alcoholic, because you know that I've kept my job and I know my limits and stuff. So like, I like to party. Do I like to party? Yes, I absolutely like to. And I will admit it.
But you take care of your shit. You're not falling behind because dude, I had a job interview but I didn't go because I was hungover.
That's another deal, and I will always argue that point. It's like when you deny your basic everyday duties because I want to be home and be drinking. No, like. I do it on Friday nights, on like Saturday nights, and nowadays not even on Sunday nights.
Any day that starts with a T, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, dude. I've even and that's what I.
Would you know me a long time too? No, would you consider me an alcoholic?
Absolutely not. Because listen, here's the difference, and I speak for myself as well. Because there's times where even during the week I go and hang out with my boys, and we drink till 4, 5, 6 in the fucking morning, and I'll be up the next day to go to work, right? And this is what I've always told, especially the people that are most concerned, which is my parents at times.
Given, because they're parents.
Exactly. Because my mom and my dad will never stop worrying, because they're your parents. It's a given. But I always tell them, I say, listen, what are you worried about? Do I not go to work every fucking day? Do I not pay the bills?
When you start getting DUIs and all that.
And I said no, and I told them like this. When was the last time you remember I came home or you got that call at night, come and pick up your son? Because he's fucking up.
Yeah.
Right? I said, so you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about, because at the end of the day, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I may party or may not party, I am taking care of business.
I think that's one of the things I think that, well, I mean, none of us have kids right now, but I think that's one of the things that as we have kids, obviously you're not going to talk about your kid when he's 6, 7, 8,
Absolutely.
9 about it. But once you get to the point where you're getting around the age where I was starting to smoke, I was starting to drink. That's when you really need to start talking to your child about the responsibilities.
I encourage
you know what?
the fucking use of marijuana. If my kids
dude,
that's good for them.
Yes,
awesome.
But the point is, what I'm saying is like, I think when you educate or teach the morals to your child, if you know he's getting drunk, it's like, okay, I trust him that he's gonna get drunk, because I was doing the same thing, but I knew I have my limit. I'm not gonna do something stupid, drink and drive, or fucking start a fight.
I think sometimes there's a lot of hypocrisy around here. It's when parents.
The moment you start telling your kid you cannot do that, it's like they do even more, and they go over the limit.
And I speak because I've seen it many times,
too.
And I'd be like, dude, and I'm not gonna say no names or nothing because it's not fair to anybody, but I've seen it plenty of times with plenty of parents, friends, family, whatever you want to call it. I say, why? with what face do you have to say that's wrong?
Yeah.
Because I've seen you do it. Don't be a hypocrite. See, the last thing, and this is what I always tell people. 2 things about me that I always tell people and that I try not to be, and I think at this point I'm pretty successful, is lying. I hate liars, and I don't lie. I try not to. I think you guys know, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm one of the most honest persons. I personally think I am one of the most honest persons in this world. And on top of that, I'm not a hypocrite. I hate hypocrisy, dude. When people say, "Don't do that," that's wrong. It's like, motherfucker.
They're usually the people that do that, that say that, they're the ones that fucking do it.
Yeah, and the ones that do that, they feel guilty. It's like, motherfucker, you used to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Why are you hating on your sibling or child to do that? Well, because I don't want them to be that. That's fine. I understand that. But don't be a hypocrite and straight cut them off. Just tell them, listen, I've been through this.
Don't guilt trip them.
I've been through this. I know what you're going through. And the one thing I hate, especially now, because a lot of my friends and a lot of my family members are now parents, they try to say, "Oh, I don't want my kid smoking weed. I don't want my kid drinking. I don't want my kid going out late." Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You were a piece of shit. You were the one that went out and did the worst, and now you want us to turn around and say, "Don't do it because that's wrong."
Love you, man.
Yeah.
No. Hey, this gay shit over there. What the fuck?
Fucking
big.
What about the star
well, no. Back to that thing where it's like the people that want to rally against something, the anti-gay, anti-this, they're typically the ones that are repressing it.
Well,
they're the ones that are hiding.
How many Republicans have gotten caught doing something that they're voting against?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a common theme that runs through everything. It's like the people that have the biggest opinion about a thing really are just hiding it because they themselves can't admit to not editing themselves. Back to the thing I said back at the beginning, don't edit yourself. People edit themselves because they're worried about their tertiary different groups of friends co-mingling.
Fucker.
That's why.
Matter of fact, here, hold on. I'm going to give you a perfect example. And this is a family thing. My oldest sister, right? My oldest nephew, he's 18 now.
God damn.
Yeah, dude,
damn.
Right? Yeah. Bran, he's 18, right?
What?
Not too long ago, maybe like a year ago, my sister told me, my older sister, she lives in Indiana, she's like, I want you to talk to Abraham because, he's starting to smoke weed and this and that. And I said, well, what do you want me to say? She's
How much?
Hold on. And
don't
she said,
do it because I do it.
No, and she said, well,
don't do it.
I want you to talk to him because, he really thinks highly of you. He trusts you. I said, okay, but I don't know what you're expecting me to say to him. She's like, well, and she's like, I trust you. I know that whatever you're going to say, you know what you're doing. I said, okay, fine. I said, but don't be surprised of the answer or whatever I may say.
She walks in and both
no, hear me. So he called. So I talked to him over the phone because they live in Indianapolis. So I talked to him. Hey, mijo, what's up? How you doing? This full grown man, got a deep voice. Yeah, just a man, right? And so I told him. I said, listen, I heard that you're partaking now in the weed situation. He's like, yeah. He's all, but he tried to cover up and say no. And this, I said, it's okay, right? I said, listen. Apparently your mama wants me to talk to you because she thinks that it may be an issue. He's like, well, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the situation was, I said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do it either, right? I said, because it takes a certain...
character. Yeah.
Father figure.
No. It takes a certain... Besides character and everything, and father figure, whatever, it takes a certain personal... being to say, I'm gonna do this, but you don't take it overboard. You don't let it take over your life. You take over. Like I've always said, drugs, alcohol, weed, whatever the fuck you do in your life, you never lose control. You always take control. I've never told anybody that smokes weed, that smokes crystal, that does heroin, that does coke, whatever the situation is that you do, I never will tell somebody don't do that because I'd be a hypocrite. And that's one thing I am not. So what I'd say, listen, do what you want to do, but know your limits. Know how far you can take whatever drug you decide to do. And know how far you can take and how far your body can take it. I said, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do it. Because when I first spoke to him at that time, because, this was a couple years ago, I said, I still smoke weed. So why would I sit here and tell you not to do it? I'd be a hypocrite to be like, don't do that. That's the worst thing in the fucking world. No, because it's not. But be smart. Be an adult. Don't be a child about it. If you want to take on this this responsibility, if you want to take on this idea, this feeling, be an adult. Don't be stupid about it. I said, and my sister then tells me, well, did you tell him to not smoke? I said, no, absolutely not. Why would I say that? I said, what were you, and I told her, I said, what were you thinking by sending him my way? Did you actually think that I was going to tell him not to do it? No, because I'm nobody to tell somebody not to do something. I told him, whatever he wants to do it. But be responsible and know your limits. That's it. And then I will continue to tell that to the rest of the world. Know how far you could take whatever the fuck. I get it. I've heard some people say there's some drugs that you may not be able to control. Well, whatever. That's the choice you made.
Oh, right? That's what they believe.
That's the choice you made. But all I'm going to ever say is try to know your limit. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and you're sitting in that room by yourself, because no doctor, no mom, no dad, no nurse, nobody is going to be able to tell you not to do it without you convincing yourself, listen, I've gone too far. Because I can tell you,
no one
Chris,
can tell you no but yourself.
No, and I can tell you, Chris, you've gone too far. But unless you understand and agree with, and you understand that you've gone too far, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Juan says. You have to, you yourself say, yeah, I've gone too far with this shit. And that's all I said. Mijo, I love you. And I'm going to be here for whenever you got a problem, you call Theo. I'm here for you. If it's 3 a.m, I'm here. You call me.
Or 2 pounds?
I said, but listen, be responsible. You're an adult now. You're not a child. You're 18. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Mijo, that's wrong. Don't do it, Mijo. No. I'm going to tell you what you're doing is what you want to do. It's your choice. But be responsible and know your limits. Because at the end of the day, if you take whatever drug you take too far and you're sitting in that room, because you're going to end up in a fucking room by yourself at some point, it's going to be you and you alone.
It's on you, yeah.
So you need to know that this decision, no matter what your mom says, no matter what your dad says, no matter what the doctor says, no matter what anybody says, it's still going to come down to you. Be an adult. Be responsible.
So this human experience, I think, is important to remember. Personal autonomy, personal freedom, that is something you cannot infringe upon anybody else. It's one of those things where you can, when you start to tell somebody what they can and can't do, it just makes them go the other way. Look at Catholic fucking schools. Like, dude, those are the most fucked up people that come out of there.
Those are the ones that as soon as they're out of school, they feel like they tried to catch up with lost time.
Because they were oppressed so hard. So when you give that person that freedom, like say your nephew in terms of, okay, I heard you're smoking weed. I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to. I would be a hypocrite saying that. Absolutely, because it's not about being like, you have to let a person understand and decide for themselves because it's on them. When you say someone's an addict and you're imposing a personal thing yourself on them. Let them decide that. It's not about being good. It's about understanding why you were good in the first place. Let them go to whatever part that they're going to be, because that's them discovering who they are. And if somebody gets fucked up on drugs, alcohol, weed, whatever it is, they were going to fuck up on that no matter what anyway, because that's their personality. Let them discover those things, understand who they are and why, and learn how to control it, because that's on them. It's personal autonomy. No one can be responsible for anybody other than themselves. So that it's really the self has to make the decision to want to either not get fucked up on that and learn how to control it, or use it as an excuse to play the victim and then blame everybody else for it. That's what I truly believe.
That's the one that really kills me, is like people who do all these, like, especially the hard drugs, right? And then they want to be the victims. I'm like, and then people, oh, poor this or poor him. No, that's why that person continues to be the person that he is, because the pity you continue to give this person. And you gotta make him or her responsible for what they decided to do, and say, listen, you're in this because you decided to do it, not me. I didn't put this shit to your mouth or to your fucking nose or whatever the situation is. I'll be here for you. When you need me to support you, I'm going to be here for you. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, poor you. No, motherfucker. Poor shit. Because you decided to put that pipe in your mouth, that coke in your nose, that needle in your arm. You decided that alcohol in your system. Like, I make my decisions every day. You make that decision every day. And I'm not going to sit here and say, poor you.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not here to say poor anybody. Yeah. Because poor me. You know what? Poor me, because I have to deal with your bullshit.
If there's one thing that I remember from our old friend Joel, you know, he's been out of our life for the long time.
God bless his soul.
But if there's one thing I do remember that he once told me, he's like, you know what? I could tell you one thing 100 times, 1,000 times, but it isn't until either you fall on it and you learn it from yourself. Yeah. It doesn't matter. That's why. Why am I gonna? It's kind of like, why am I gonna waste your time telling you every single time?
What have we always said? And I know you guys, not we, but what has always, it's a saying that everybody says, you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
Exactly.
So unless you want to be helped, and I've gone through this with many people in my life, because for some reason there's, not in this group generally, but there's other people that I know be like, give me some advice, help me. I'm like, no.
Oh, give me that one
First of all, I've always said I'm nobody to give advice. I'm not trained, and even if I was trained, I'm nobody to give advice. I'm a person that gives my opinion, and if you're willing to take it and run with it, then run it. And if you don't, then don't. That's the beautiful thing about an opinion, is that you can either take it and run with it, or go in one ear and go out the other. That's your choice. But I can't help you unless you want to be helped. That's just the honest truth. Yeah. If you don't, I can sit here, like you said, like Joel said, I can tell you 1,000 times, Chris, you're doing wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing wrong. But if it's not calculating, if it's not sinking into your mind, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. It's not until you say,
I fucked up.
Connor, I'm fucking up. Yeah. That's when it matters. Me saying it 1,000 times is just annoying. Yeah. I'm just a nuisance.
It's just noise.
It's just a nuisance.
Well, you're always annoying. So what's it?
Well, but I'm a special.
Special.
You know, it's just a nuisance. But until you get it through your head that you are the one that's fucking up, nothing's gonna work.
Well, all right. Well, we're already at the 57-minute mark. Well, until next time.
Thank you.
Peace in the Middle East.